So Lee and I are here in the Grundfos booth. We're here with Mike, who is the product manager for Grundfos.
Yep.
And you're going to give us a quick run through on some of the new offerings from Grundfos. So we'll let you take over.
All right. Well, what we have here today is the new Alpha. This will replace the old Alpha 2 and the Alpha 1. You can see we have the touch screen where we can change and see the flow, watts, and feet of the pump. But even more importantly, it's Bluetooth connected. With the Bluetooth connection, we can set this pump up to be what that system needs. So we optimize the energy efficiency of the entire system, not just the pump. Because we could give the boiler and the system the exact performance that it needs. So we could either set it from the UI at constant curve auto adapt with 3 speeds for the constant curve, or constant pressure auto adapt. But from the phone, we can now also set it in proportional pressure. We can set flow limits or constant flow. Mm-hmm. So whatever we think the flow of that system needs to be, we can do it. Through a guided setup, anybody can do it. In the guided setup, it's going to ask you, what is this pump? What's it doing in the system? Is it a boiler pump? Is it a zone pump? What's it doing? You tell it that, and then it'll lead you to the proper mode. After guided setup, you'll be in the proper mode at the proper setting to give that system what it needs best.
That's a cool functionality. One of the things I always like to touch on is with any sort of new technology, a lot of tradespeople, and I am a former tradesperson, they get intimidated. But what I like about Bluetooth technology, and we talked about it earlier, is it's kind of like a Bluetooth headset. If you can pair a Bluetooth headset to your phone, you can make this pump work. It's not something where you need to have anything fancy. It doesn't require a computer engineering degree.
No codes, it's actual pull out text.
Nice.
Anybody can download the app, it's free. Grundfos Pumps, Grundfos Go new pump tool. Do the app for this. And there's demo mode in there, so you could run through the demo even if you don't have a pump in front of you and learn the entire system, how it works.
How many different models of Alpha now is Grundfos offering?
We have one Alpha and we have one UPS-E.
Okay.
The UPS-E is the same energy efficiency as the Alpha, but no Bluetooth connection. It's just constant curve, 3 settings, constant pressure, 3 settings, and proportional pressure, 3 settings, all set by the icon, the button. They both have the easy wiring, where when you get it, this block will be removed. You run your conduit through, you wire it out here, out in that free space, and then you plug in the block.
A lot of people dismiss that, but they don't realize that when I get this circulator up on the wall and I pipe that in, if I got to run my conduit in here and try to wire this, being able to pull this block off is a big, big deal. I also like that there's simple little tabs. A lot of them have started to adopt these really fancy, hold the screwdriver at a 12-degree angle to get the wire in. So I'm a big fan of that. That's a really simple, easy way to do it. Yeah, toolless is good.
Toolless is great.
How many of these can you pair within one system?
You can put as many in one system as you need.
Okay.
You can, when you're connected with your phone, you can only connect to one at a time.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But if you have a system that requires the same mode and setting, once you set one up, you can save that setting on your phone and go to the next one and dump that setting into that phone, into that pump, and the next pump, and the next pump.
How often does it send back readings and say if something was going wrong with the pump? How long after would that pump fail would somebody be able to tell that it's going wrong?
The pump does, both pumps have a warning. This one has a little triangle that'll be orange if it's in alarm, hey, there might be something wrong, you might want to check it out, or red if it's stopped.
Yeah.
The Alpha has the Grundfos Eye, which will turn yellow for the same reasoning, or red, and it'll give you a code down here.
And it'll pick up in the app as well?
In the app as well. In fact, in the app, you can look at what all the alarm codes have been.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things we see a lot of the manufacturers getting away from, and it's not a big deal, is we no longer have the bleed screws, the burp screw. You know, the thing we look for when we want to see, did they actually commission the pump right? So a lot of manufacturers are giving that initial torque on the pump to try to get the air off it. How does Grundfos attack that issue?
It's automatic in that the rotor can will fill full of water within the first 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how fast you run it, but it will fill up.
And then what does it do when it gets that pocket of air where the technician hasn't actually purged the air out properly? How will the circulator overcome that if it does get air in?
I think what you're looking for is a dry run protection. This pump does have dry run protection. When you first install it, if it's never seen water before, it'll go through a dry run mode where it spins a little bit.
Yeah.
If it doesn't see water, it'll stop. It'll wait 30 seconds and then try again. It'll keep doing that. After, I think it's 45 minutes, it goes into alarm mode. tells you, hey, you need to come over here and turn the valve on. And it won't go back on again until you tell the pump to. You have to actually touch it. If it has seen water before and it goes in a dry run, it will actually, it doesn't want, we don't want false alarms, so it'll keep running, which is okay because now the rotor can's full of water.
Yeah.
But if it still doesn't see water after a while, it will go into that test cycle again.
Is there any technology you guys have built into the alpha pumps or any of your other circulators to deal with some of the issues, especially with magnetite and different, contaminants in the system, just to try to keep them out of the actual circulator itself?
The shaft and bearings are not magnetic, so they will not collect any magnetite.
Cool. That's a great functionality. You don't think about that, but
Right.
a lot of the time people don't realize, we see a lot of jobs, I do a lot of design work and commissioning of systems, and people don't realize that sometimes they're inadvertently turning this into their dirt separator.
Yes.
This is a very expensive dirt separator. You want to use a proper separate dirt separator because a lot of the ECM circulators are magnets. If we take any kind of metal and put it up against one of those ECM pumps, it's going to be a problem. The magnetite forms on it.
But on the hydraulic side, nothing's magnetic.
Very cool. Is there any other functionality in these circulators you see as overlooked or that we should talk about that contractors and engineers may not be aware of?
It does have a very high robust start where it'll give it a little shake to make sure it'll start up. So that's one thing that when these rotors, wet rotor units sit for a long time, they can get locked up.
Yep.
This one has a very high start.
So it's got that starting torque I talked about earlier where it gets seized up. Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. What else do you have here that we can look at, Mike?
I would highly encourage anybody to connect one, either use the demo mode or connect one with the app, walk through it and see what is in there because there's so much in the app that'll make this the best, highest efficiency pump you can put in your system.
Awesome.